Hey everyone, so my name's Slender and I'm going to start part 2 of this huge, gigantic summer PTR, patch notes. There's so much information here. And if you didn't catch the first half, make sure you click on part 1 of the summer PTR release notes video. And we're going to go ahead and start on expeditions, which is going to start our part 2. So for expeditions, key changes and updates. So some general changes: standard and mutated expeditions no longer require expedition tuning orbs, and as such, they should no longer be acquirable nor their respective materials. So they're going to completely remove them from stone cutting. How they're going to change stone cutting, I guess, remains to be seen, or maybe it's going to be in here. So let's go ahead and read and find out. So gold changes with the accessibility. Now remember, this is all expeditions, guys. So with the accessibility changes to expeditions, we've moved roughly 80% of coin generated from expedition bosses and have instead spread it out to coin drops from elite chests and darkness breach completion bonuses to help compensate for the reduction. So they reduced the coin given from bosses and expeditions by 80%. Added lost stack of coins to darkness breaches and elite chests. Each lost stack grants 500 coins. Players can obtain a maximum of 2 lost stacks daily, regardless of source. Minor darkness breaches have a 10% chance of dropping a lost sack upon completion. Major darkness breaches have a 100% chance of dropping a lost sack upon completion, and elite chests have a 35% chance to contain a lost sack upon being opened. So yeah, they just shifted all this gold from expeditions to, make it more, I guess, feasible, profitable to be doing open world stuff and hitting those elite zones. So expedition key and crafting materials. So expedition keys and their crafting materials are no longer obtainable, period, except for breach fragments like corrupted stone or corrupted fragments, slivers, whatever. So we want to keep the different tiers of breach fragment items from breaches for use in crafting, starting with the territory supplies detailed under economy, which we're going to get to, that can be crafted at the stone cutting station. Expedition keys have been replaced with armament chests. So normal expedition armaments provide loot rolls on each of the potential bosses from its respected expedition. Mutated expedition armaments provide loot rolls on each of the final bosses for each expedition that can be mutated at mutated level 7. Mutated expedition armaments provide 1,250 umbral shards. All armaments will provide coin value equal to roughly 50% of the equivalent coin cost to purchase the expedition orbs from the faction shop. The following expedition key crafting materials no longer exist and will be converted into different types of breach fragments. So for Genesis, Lazarus, and Tempest cores will be converted into corrupted fragments. Undying hearts, earth totems, corrupted runes, molten runes, and glowing spores will be converted into corrupted slivers. Blight seeds will be converted into corrupted splinters. This is the only way to obtain splinters, which convert up to slivers. Expedition AI. So they fix an issue causing Captain Thorpe, Restless Shores, to not apply appropriate distance scaling in his pull-in ability. Fix an issue causing timeless shards to not drop from all expedition bosses, so timeless shards should now be dropping from all endgame expedition bosses, including mutators. Starstone Barrows, so they fix an issue that resulted in skeletons spawning outside of the Grungul arena, or Grungul arena. The Depths, they fix a lighting issue where the water would sometimes flicker. They fix a collision gap at the entrance that allowed players to get out of bounds, and fix an issue where the carapace blocking the teleporter was not able to take damage from status effects and some AoEs. Dynasty Shipyard changes, so they blocked a climbable area which was not intended to be playable. Fix an issue where players could reset AI by climbing onto the cliffs in the Eastern Pier area. Fix an issue where the loot from Oro and Joven could become unreachable in the arena cages. Fix an issue where Isabella would fire her pistol in random directions. Now it will always fire at a player. The Dynasty Maiden's Dragon Dive attack no longer adjusts aim after the tell and instead fires straight out from the Maiden. And they added a team wipe ability to Joven and Oro to finish groups that have fallen to death's door. Garden of Genesis, they close off access to a ledge before the Alluvium Marl fight. Fix an exploit where certain AI were retreating in an unintended way, and Greenskeeper will no longer target downed players prior to starting their attack sequence. Lazarus instrumentality changes. So Chartist Rolling Hands is now unblockable. Cleaned up the collision on Scylla's boss arena. Fix an issue where Scylla could wipe a party prematurely. Adjusted the collision around the broken bridge in Scylla's arena. And fix an issue where the status Arcane Ren could persist after Scylla's encounter had ended. And lastly, they fix an exploit where certain AI were retreating in an unintended way. Tempest Heart finessed and added missing collision throughout Tempest Heart. So, you know, those spots where you get stuck, like when you're going up these little hills and stuff, that's hopefully what they're talking about. They fixed a collision gap in 𝙏𝙀𝙢𝙢's arena that was causing players to perform a heroic hop movement. Removed access to a ledge in the 𝙏𝙀𝙢 arena in Tempest Heart that would sometimes allow players to avoid ranged attacks. Fix an issue where the status effect Corrupted Soul could persist after 𝙏𝙀𝙢 was defeated. Updated name displayed on icon from Corrupted Naga to Corrupted 𝙏𝙀𝙢. Fix an issue allowing 𝙏𝙀𝙢 to spawn a corruption core just before his phase transition. Fix an issue that could cause 𝙏𝙀𝙢's mesh to flicker if players were extremely close to him. Fix an issue where some enemies would be auto-cold when the Destroy Monolith encounter was completed, and improve the Heretic's visual dialogue. Void Tunnel music now plays ending cue when leaving the Void Tunnel. Isabella will no longer stay stuck on players that are body blocking her. Fixed a bug where Isabella could stop attacking and become unresponsive. Isabella's VO is now heard clearly as opposed to sounding muffled when obstructed by an object. Isabella's cannons should now correctly mutate when playing a mutated expedition. And fixed a bug where the Isabella cinematic wouldn't play in some circumstances. Global mutators. Difficulty levels at which loot unlocks has been adjusted. So the system was originally intended to give players a sense of rewarding progression as you play through the difficulty levels, which it does accomplish. But at lower levels, it didn't feel particularly good as rewards were too sparse. Therefore, this change should result in players seeing a larger variety of items given at lower levels. No loot has been removed, but specific items and item types you may expect may have been shifted to different brackets and unlock groups. Added another accessory reward to each mutator. So previously, each mutator dropped 2 of the 3 types of accessories, and now each mutator can drop 1 of each type. Fixed a frenzied mutator status effect that showed a debug string. Fixed an issue that was causing the toxic mutation not to track the player. Fix an issue where the toxic effect was showing incorrect values in the overgrown mutation tooltip. Fix an issue where some status effects were not set to be removed when exiting the expedition. Fixing an issue allowing overcharge to proc when the player has less than 3 stacks applied as it expires. Fixing an issue causing orbs to no longer appear for unstable overcharge after a player has been downed or revived. Reduced the base stamina damage reduction applied to some AI in expeditions from 50% to 25%. So they reduced the value of Shattering 1 effects from 75 to 40%, so a 10% net reduction. Reduced value of Shattering 2 effects from 125 to 75%, which is a 25% net reduction. And both Shattering 1 and 2 remove the base stamina damage reduction applied to enemies and expeditions, and also increase stamina damage output. Updated the tooltips for the Desiccated Curse Combustible and Shriveled, which showed incorrect values and did not have the correct effect icons. Updated visual effects for the Unstable and Overcharged mutators. Fix an issue where attacks that are dealt from spawned enemies didn't always scale properly when undergeared in a Mutator 10. World experience, so exploration. Fix an issue in which some fishing hotspots did not appear on the map after discovery. Fix an issue where several hotspots in Restless Shores not giving the correct amount of resources. Moved a few misaligned fishing locations to actual water. Fix an issue where occasionally world textures would appear black for some players. Fixed a bug with dynamic resolution scaling where in situations of heavy smoke, a faint shadow silhouette could become visible. The following list of named enemies have been updated to level 63 so that they have the potential to grant 600 gear score drop rewards for players. And these named enemies are as follows. In Eden Grove, Banes, Kale, and a Georgian. Old Mirkgard Forest, Unhallowed Soul of Mirkgard. In Nihilo Visage, High Priest Osagura. In Balebane Ma, Articulon the Unshackled and Mazrul the Herald. In Caminus, Gatelord and Overseer Levy. In Speleo Cavern, Sai Wang the Immovable and Dao Shen the Unstoppable. In East Alerman, Corrupted Excubator, Luca. In West Alerman, Pitlord Dahi. In the Congregation, Meyerpaw. In Lambit Muskig, the Blightbringer. In Maria's Rest, Smoothbore Samuel. In Ska Makogai, Thorn of the Heartwood. In Serenity Monastery, Nasher. And in Skysong Crypt, Ivan the Inevitable, Mordecai the Mortician, and Slayer Rosalind, and Barley. They fixed an issue where Thorpe could make a surprise appearance in the cathedral outside Tempest Heart. That would be cool. I never saw that. Fixed Skysong Shrine. Point of interest and ebb and scale reach from being undiscoverable. Adjusted the placement of the recipe for disaster Lord Note, which should now make it visible. Adjusted distribution of black bears in Greyvale, which is in Brightwood, to alleviate the difficulty in exploring that area. Fixed Bison AI getting stuck in a shack in Reekwater. Yeah, I remember that Bison. We're all going to miss him. Fix floating AI pistoliers in Restless Shores. Fix bug where AI could be pushed into geometry in Sorcerer's Delve. Fixing an issue where players would burn in Caminus despite not having touched the molten material. Fix pixelation on water inside the Shattered Obelisk POI. And Simon Gray's footsteps can be heard again at the end of Amrine's excavation. So some quest fixes. They added clarification for the arena quest, fixed several typos and grammatical errors found within lore notes and quest text. Incomplete text for Relic Reclamation quest note will now reference part of the final line, reminding players of the direction of the quest. Increased drop rates for Song of the Sea quest in Morningdale. Increased size of the trigger volume used to target the shipwreck for the Sea Dreams quest, and this should now include the location of the chest, making it easier to progress. Made it easier for players to get kill contribution for Joan the Faithless. Made it so the gifted agents for the Shrouded Armor set cannot be dropped. Made it so the transference for enhancing the Protective Weird armor sets cannot be dropped. Made it so the sparks for enhancing the Battle's Embrace armor sets cannot be dropped. Set all quests in the Last Argument weapon quest arc to allow reset instead of abandon. This should prevent players from becoming stuck due to quest abandonment and brings this weapon quest line into parity with existing weapon quest lines. Fix an issue where sometimes quests could be incorrectly labeled as crafting type within the objective view of the map. Updated the Mother Ocean quest pin to reflect the location of the ghosts of Billiam's old crew since they have moved to a slightly different island and no longer lurk directly next to the ship. Resetting the Void Gauntlet weapon quest Grasping at Shadows should no longer cause players to become stuck, and players who may already be stuck can now advance properly. Fix Warden Scout Titus lip sync in the quest Into the Depths, and quest marker for Morning Grizzly Trophy Hunt mission has been adjusted to more accurately reflect the location of the Morning Grizzly. And morning as in we're sad and not in have a good morning. Economy and progression. So we're going to look at gear and items. So they fix an issue where crafted faction armor would have a different level requirement than the purchased version, changing a hatchet skill perk to refreshing and removed the gem slot from the quest reward Lightstorm's Protector. Fixed a number of grammatical errors on varying items. So hyphenated terms are now properly hyphenated, and words that were previously split and should be a single word are now a single word. Fix an issue where the rarity of an item was not correctly matching the number of perks on that item. Fix an issue with incorrect icon appearance for Flamewake Firestaff, both Tier 4 and Tier 5. Fix an issue where mana regeneration foods were not categorized properly, resulting in them being removed by other foods. Blessed Crucible description was corrected to say it comes from supply containers instead of star metal veins. Fix an issue with Beast Demise icon. Fix an issue with Hellfire Blunderbuss's inventory icon. With some of the icons in the Overgrown weapon set. With the icons of some of the Overgrown armor set pieces. With Tundra Warden's rifle icons. With Warhammer of the Soldiers icons, with Skinner Shirt cape, with the Deep Warden's battle plate of the Nomad, fix an issue with the Expedition Captain's gauntlet, the Golden Rage cape, the Marine's breastplate, Metal Raven cape, the Metal Raven chest cover, Nereid bow, Obelisk priest robe, Pauldron Fear's breastplate, Pirate light cape, Pirated ice gauntlet of the Scholar, Reinforced Shatterer's heavy gauntlets of the Sentry, Ribald Rigger chest piece, Skinner shirt, Smile breastplate, fixed a visual material issue with the Grengul's cape, and also fixed a visual stretching issue with the Grengul's cape. Fixed a visual stretching issue with the Brine chest guard of the Sentry. Fixed a visual issue with Empress Zhao's embroidered tunic, Ranger Eintao Madakai's shoulder pads, Admiral's peg, Brine chest guard of the Sentry, Brine skirt of the Sentry. Again, Eternal medium gloves, fanciful caplet skin, Holy Regent robe, medium smile apparel set, and finally fix a visual issue with the overgrown gloves of the Ranger. And they also upgraded Isabel's amulet to epic quality, better reflecting its importance both as a pre-order bonus and in lore. Stats remain unchanged. Salvaging. As part of larger salvage changes, Expedition replica fire and life staves have been changed to salvage into wood, their main ingredient, to be consistent with other crafted items. Blunderbuss from Gypsum Cast no longer salvage into materials, and fix an issue where salvaging stacked housing items causes the UI to not show the amount of repair parts earned. Housing changes, so they fix clipping issues with the Dragon Sconce furniture item and fix an issue in which furniture rarity was not being set properly. Progression. So as far as expertise, they fix an issue where opening multiple Gypsum casts in one session would show only the expertise gained from the last cast open on the banner after closing your inventory instead of the total expertise gained. Expertise. The Gypsum Kiln has been changed to only allow level 60 players to use it. Fix an issue where Instrumentality Ring rarity did not scale with its gear score. Fix an issue where the Topaz Gypsum Attunement Potion triggered the cooldown of other consumables. Improved expertise presentation by increasing expertise shown in the level up banner. Craft roll screen, box opening animation, and the loot ticker, while also slightly adjusting colors to match expertise text. PvP track. They're fixing an issue preventing trinkets from the PvP rewards track from slotting gems. Higher amounts of Umbral Shards are now offered on the PvP rewards track for the same salt price. We now properly clear the PvP value of down players on death to prevent occurrences of kill trading. Fix the notification text when buying an emote through the PvP rewards track. So some rewards and loot changes. Hidden stashes have taken a hiatus while the summer medley fair takes center stage. Not to worry, however, as diamond gypsum and gold coin can instead be gathered at town centerpieces 3 times per day for the duration of the festival. Fixed a bug where items with a legendary rarity rolled back to the epic tier when they rolled perks that did not affect their weapons. Fixing the name for elemental mutator medium weight foot armor to be boots instead of shoes to better differentiate them from elemental mutator lightweight foot armor. Fix an issue where the invasion tower shield of the fighter icon did not display properly. Fix an issue causing trinkets coming from trials to not allow gem slotting even on empty slots. Fix an issue preventing replica shields from Tempest Soul from rolling at epic rarity. New valuable perks have been added to the potential pool of rewards for that expedition. Added 4 new ice gauntlets to the game: Crystal Flow, Frosted Tips, Borealis, and Black Ice. Fix an issue where damaged items could be salvaged for the maximum coin amount. Fix an issue where luck bonuses from turkey dinner and defiled rabbit foot could stack. This was not intended. Change the name of mass-produced blunderbusses to now read as mass-produced. Quest reward rapier Vorpal Blade previously had a non-functional perk on it. This has been replaced with the Leeching Flurry perk instead. The sword Occult's Razor previously had a non-functional perk. This had been replaced with the Chain Void perk instead. Economy changes, so PvP perks are now searchable in the trading post. Yes. Added an X button to the end of search boxes within crafting stations to be consistent with other search boxes within the trading post and inventory. Added a display to show the first light refining bonus when looking at affected recipes in the crafting screen. Added territory supplies, so players can now craft 4 different tiers of territory supplies, which provide the player with large amount of territory standing in their current territory. Territory supplies will cost different tiers and volumes of corrupted fragments, stone, and wood depending on the tier of the supplies. Players can craft each tier of territory items 8 times per week. Added a confirmation notification when initiating a trade while at the coin cap, which would result in a refund of coins back to the other player. Added a warning notification before crafting an item while near the item limit. Renamed housing taxes to housing upkeep, and territory upkeep and penalty related timers will now pause during maintenance mode. Trade skills. Doubled the amount of ammo received when crafting cartridges and arrows from 50 count to 100 count. Fixed a display issue causing patterns dropped by trial bosses to now appear as common items in the crafting screen and in the wrong category. They'll now properly appear as legendary within the pattern recipes category. Fixed an issue causing blunderbuss expedition replicas to have different expedition specific material requirements than other expedition replicas. So replica blunderbuss expedition material requirements are now in line with other replicas. Updated descriptions on pattern items to read more clearly and to better imply that they are not the only requirement for that recipe. References to Tusk Gorer have been removed from crafting menus. Description change on item to remove references to crafting. Removed several invalid items that were listed on the trading post erroneously. Correcting the recipe item's name 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙎𝙪 𝙢𝙥 with corn succotash to 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙎 lava barb with corn succotash. Fix an issue where the trade skill XP preview in the crafting menu was not factoring in the faction control point buff for Monarch's Bluffs. And finally, for trade skills, they fixed an issue that was preventing the imbued, shrouded intent gloves from being crafted. UX, UI, and social changes. So the in-game store, they fixed occurrences where the unlocked text can overlap an item's name while in localized languages. Fixed broken VFX on Fenrir's Fury Great Axe, not Furry. Fixed an issue where bundles in the store had a semi-opaque discount banner when viewed in the list, and fixed an issue where store discount tags were misaligned in multiple languages. Loading screens. Potential fixes for infinite loading screen some players are seeing in War, Invasion, and Outpost Rush. So some notable fixes. Fix an issue where equipping tools mid-use cause undesired behavior. Players can no longer access their inventory through the escape menu when gathering. Fix an issue where using the escape menu to enter a menu like skills or journal while fishing would cause the fishing UI to be hidden when exiting the menu. Fix an issue where settlement and fast travel shrine icons would not appear on a respawn map. Fix an issue where items sold in shops were not displaying the correct variable numeric values. Fix an issue where the settings menu had a green box with a section header and a white box with a description when in specific resolutions. Fix an issue where the UI for recall to in button did not roll over properly while the player was in a menu. The recall to in button now reactivates when cooldown timer expires without requiring the user to reopen the menu. Thank goodness. Fix an issue where town project task coin rewards were rounded slightly different from how they're displayed in the journal objectives. Fixed an issue where you could see the gathering skill required on the gathering interact when showing the inventory as full message. Fix an issue where client would be spammed with old area chat messages as they were approaching a new area. Fix an issue where the region name displayed in the character transfer window did not use the localized name. Fix an issue where weapon abilities could be swapped while on cooldown, but only the icon changes. Players now will get a notification that they are unable to swap weapon abilities out while on cooldown. Fix an instance where the internal name of a region was used instead of public name on the world merge notification. Fix an issue where the region transfer and buy sell requirement text did not start red when the requirement was not met. Fixed incorrect messaging when trying to place camp during outpost rush. Fix an issue where linking several items in the same chat message could result in a failure to link the items or send the message. Fix an issue where online and offline friends did not appear in alphabetical order. Fix an issue where after fast traveling to a town, the faction territory border appeared incorrectly on the map and varying zoom levels. Fix an issue where the main menu icons were misaligned on the character selection screen. Fix an issue with item icon resolutions when completing all town board turn-ins. Fix a bug where the hitting enter during the Amazon Games logo could cause a soft lock. You are now free to skip the Amazon Games logo. No judgment. Nice little humor there. Fix an issue causing trades to fail if traded gems were attached to an item during the fix or during the trade. Fix an issue when experiencing a connection error. The string retry appears unlocalized in the pop-up window for all languages. Fix an issue where the attribute window flickered when committing points. Fix an issue where the Azoth Vial icon in the Weapon Mastery respec pop-up was too small. It is now appropriately sized. Fix an issue where Captain Thorpe's subtitles were not localized. Fix an issue where company treasury error messages would not show properly shown when withdrawing and depositing. Fix an issue where holding left click on an item did not always activate the dragging state. Fix an issue where if you are in the crafting menu and had a recipe with a cooldown selected and the cooldown timer reset while you were in the menu wouldn't update to allow you to craft the item unless you switched recipes. It now refreshes in that case to show you the correct status. Fix an issue where salvaging items would cause the map to open by disabling fast travel interact when in inventory to prevent double actions firing. Fix an issue where scrolling down to upgrade items with umbral shards did not work properly. Fix an issue where the split stack slider was displaying the wrong amount due to a rounding value error. Fix an issue where the background bled through at the top edge of crafting screens. Fix an issue where the highlighted rings and lock icon for an ultimate ability node was removed when performing a respec. Fix an issue where the post-war and outpost rush reward screen wasn't showing all received items. Fix an issue where the proper name was not being used during the Siren Queen fight. Fix an issue where the reload bar did not show any progress on the turret HUD. Fix an issue where the temporary ban message showed broken markup tags. Fix an issue where weekly mutation tooltips would flicker on the screen when hovering over mutation icons on the map. Fix duplicate message when trying to store an item in a full storage shed. Fix the fishing loot ticker showing the wrong amount of bait. Fix an issue where players with the rank of settler in the guild could click the invite to guild button and receive an error stating that they didn't have permission to invite. Fix an issue where some healing elixirs were showing incorrect healing values. Fix language inconsistencies in pop-ups. Players will no longer receive group finder invites from blocked players. The text of completed missions on the town project board is now grammatically correct when only having one mission completed. Borders around challenges on the menu pane now behave properly when clicked. Quality of life changes. Added a visual cooldown timer for intra-region character transfers. Added a visual cooldown timer to the world transfer button. It updates appropriately based on expected region and world transfer behavior and is disabled while the world transfer timer is active. Added a pre-match notification reminder about checking equipped 3v3 arena consumables and gear. Adjusted the inventory search bar field to extend properly when extending past the default field of view. Added an animation as inventory slots become unlocked upon leveling up. Added a bait counter while fishing, displaying how much of the selected bait currently remains. Added functionality to the bait selection window so it scrolls when the amount of bait exceeds one row. Added coin amount when salvaging close to the repair parts cap. So again, they added the coin amount when salvaging close to the repair parts cap. Added new audio preferences to the settings menu. We now have a menu music slider, a performance music slider, and combat music checkbox. Adjusted the star medal and platinum map/compass icons to better distinguish readability between the two different materials. Adjusted the UI on turret options to have adequate room and be legible for players to easily read. Daily mission bonus UI should now always update, even if you have the faction mission window open when it resets. Fix an issue where the health bar and status tooltips were visible in the setting menu. Remove die message that states player will lose the die when choosing the same color as the player does not lose the die. Simplified the repair tooltip by removing the quantity owned and only showing what is required to repair. When opening the modes menu, it will default to the last mode that the player had recently selected instead of always defaulting to Outpost Rush. Remove the camp button from the equipment screen. You can still change the skin of your camp from the interaction menu on the camp itself. Remove duplicated word bait in the bait selection window, and the waiting emote now loops. So we've got some economy, progression, and perks changes. So change the way perks roll. They now roll first by label, then by perk. This will increase the diversity of perks on weapons. So for example, the trade skill drop chance on earrings now have a very low drop chance on drops to increase the combat focused perks players get from earrings. These can still be a controlled craft using their specific craft mods. They rebalance all perk drop chances and normalize the perk chances across family, creatures, and expeditions. So for example, refreshing was not dropping on most family and expedition tables, and it can now drop from all expeditions and families. So that's really awesome. Skill perks now have a greatly increased effect when on weapon versus armor. So this will be displayed in update notes as 10, 20, and 30%. The first two numbers being the min and max on armor, and the last being the max on weapons. So weapons can get up to 30% of the perk value, as opposed to, only 10 or 20% on armor. All enemies now have a chance to drop items at plus 100 gear score higher than normal. So level 59 to 63 have an increased chance. The 600 max and expertise still applies to these rolls. All weapons, armor, and tools have a chance to salvage into new crafting materials called scraps and fragments. And these new materials can be used to learn trade skill experience, fabricate new items, extract resources, and create gypsum orbs. So guys, this is huge. Refinement materials no longer have 3 tiers, so all crafting and refinement recipes now only drop at tier 5 and use the tier 5 potency. All lower tiers can be salvaged into tier 5. So there was some question about what's going to happen with those lower, tier mats, but now we know they're going to all be able to be salvaged into tier 5. So expect the prices to drop even further. All crafting and refining clothing have now had their gear score fixed to make searching and buy orders on the trading post easier. Crafting clothing drop locations have been changed. So this is stuff like, weaponsmithing pants, etc. Charcoal now can only be made from unrefined wood. Non-arena patterns crafting costs have been reduced by 66%. High-level crafting materials and the refinement materials rarity has been updated, so the refinement materials are now epic or purple, and the refined materials are legendary or orange. They increase the drop chances of briar buds and reduce the drop chances of reeds, increase the drop chances of briar buds and reduce the drop chances of thorny vines. Stat perks. So fighter attributes. The total stats provided by this stat combination have been increased. Monk attributes. The total stats provided by this stat combination have been increased. Spell sword attributes. The total stats provided by this stat combination have been increased. So all of these, the total stats with these stat combinations have been increased. These are all the different split stats. So spell sword, Cavalier, Duelist, Assassin, Zealot, Priest, Artificer, Battle Mage, Mage, Trickster, and yeah, those have all been increased. So all these total stats, you know, with these stat combinations from Fighter all the way down to Trickster have been increased. Now, the strength threshold at 50 now affects both light and heavy attacks by 10%. Dexterity threshold at 50, critical chance increased from 5% to 10%. Focus threshold at 50 now reduces skill recharge by 5%. Intelligence threshold at 50 now increased critical damage by 10%. Strength threshold at 100 now grants 5% more damage to slashing and strike damage. And the intelligence threshold at 100 now grants 10% more damage to magic basic attacks.